Welcome to the Ghosts of Plum Run Hour, brought to you by Ghosts of Plum Run, the Star Wars series for leftists. I'm Tim Russo, author of Ghosts of Plum Run, and your host. Joining us today for a special edition is COVID crusher Eugene McCormick, now 4-0 versus COVID, undefeated. Welcome, Huge.
4, baby. 4.
How you feel?
Or cut. I think he sent his best. He sent his best soldier, and he couldn't get me.
You're 4-0, undefeated.
I'm feeling actually pretty good today. Like yesterday, I was still a little bit down, but I could kind of tell I was progressing. Today, I'm feeling like myself. So, God bless America. I think I'm back.
Well, you look like yourself. You're lounged against pillows and you've got a Beatles shirt on.
I got good old John Lennon keeping good control of me.
So the breaking news of the podcast is we may have discovered a new variant.
I don't know what the fuck that was, but it sure was. I'm a COVID veteran now, and
4-0.
I did not actually even think I would test because I had the chills and stuff, but like this was all stomach. It was like somebody had just stuck a knife in my liver and they weren't going to stop for days and days and days.
How many days you think?
Well, it started on Saturday morning in the middle of the night. And I thought it was food poisoning more than anything, because like that was more of a symptom of food poisoning. And it wasn't like diarrhea or anything. It was like more of like a constipation, like, you know what I mean? Like pressure in there that like was not a normal thing. You and Julie both told me to take a COVID test, and I'm glad I did, because when I did, at least I knew what the hell was going on. But so that was Saturday. Today's Thursday. Today's Friday.
Friday.
I would say I was still complaining about my stomach, up until Wednesday.
Now
yesterday it started subsiding.
You say it was your stomach, but it was just sort of in the vicinity of the stomach.
It was the left side, like as you pointed out yesterday in chat. It could be the spleen, it could be the liver. Like, but it was like all like right centralized right in there. And just as my luck has it, my 8-year-old boy, he likes to sleep in the bed still. And he was over on Saturday night and he kicked me right exactly where the pain was that evening. Like a violent, like I got a couple kicks to the, like he usually doesn't do this.
Which one is that?
I got a couple, Kevin.
The NBA fan, the Cavs fan.
Yes. Oh, he got me a couple times in the face that night too. But when he kicked me he kicked me right where it hurt. And like I let out, he didn't wake up. I yelped so loud. Oh my God.
So it was, like, it was painful to the touch.
I maybe, I mean, like when your stomach is like hurting that bad and like somebody kicks it, it's not the most pleasurable experience.
So
it was a good kick too.
So you're feeling better today?
I am. I actually would say that if I had to go cotton picking today, I could go cotton picking.
Our audience is unaware of your travails looking for jobs.
Well, I almost took a job at a place called U.S. Cotton.
U.S. Cotton being
which
just
is
the other side of Brook Park.
Last year, about this time, I thought I was going to be a baron. And this year, I need to go back into my real roots, which is a slave, a wage slave.
Wage slave.
And I thought, embarking in the cotton industry is the perfect
Well,
ironic.
since we are on the Ghosts of Plum Run hour, we just for our audience's information, we're having another podcast to schedule for tomorrow night with Jonathan, who is well ahead of you in the series. Speaking of picking cotton, and we're going to talk to him tomorrow night. But how far have you gotten so far in the Ghosts of Plum Run series?
I just like, once I start getting in, I'll get in. And like everything's been kind of I'd say I'm probably 3-4 chapters in, which I've enjoyed, and I feel bad that I have not been able to delve. But once I get through it, I'll get through it. But like this month and a half
Right.
of job seeking hell has not been,
And COVID.
Yeah, that's not fun. Although like that I'm a guinea pig for this new variant,
The Brook Park variant.
the Orcut, I think
know
they
what?
call it.
It might be more accurately described as the Tri-City variant.
As I didn't overly look at this, but like there was somebody on Twitter that they were from Pittsburgh and they said they had the same type of deal going on. So I think this actually could really be something that's, gonna be a thing.
The Midwest variant.
And I'm telling you that the pain was so severe. I've had an appendicitis before.
You have?
And as you know, like I let things go. And like the person said it was the worst appendix infection that they've ever seen in their life. Therefore, most likely the most painful. So I let that go and go and go. And like that hurt like the dickens. This was right up there with that pain. Like it was like having an appendicitis, except it was COVID. So
could you walk?
That's the thing. Like with the appendix, like I actually went to work that entire week. Like I'm a madman. Like
Right.
My pain threshold, it's a good thing. It's a blessing and a curse. You know what I mean? Like
right.
I can
Just ask Baker Mayfield.
Well, warrior mentality, baby.
So in addition to all this, your body is falling apart. Like you're having a torn labrum, just like Baker Mayfield, except in another part of your collapsing physique.
The two smart things that I did this week, I didn't pick cotton, and I did not go to physical therapy.
If you went to the cotton place,
I would be dead. I think I'd be on a respirator right now.
What do you think would have happened?
I think I probably would have gotten through the day, and like by this time this week, I would probably look like an alien green.
But it wasn't respiratory. You had no respiratory symptoms. So
I think it would have actually turned it. I have that little bit of a cough that comes, like, it's not, but I think it would have probably attacked that then, because I would have stayed up all night. That was a 12-hour night shift. I think my body would have been so stressed that like I would have been a goner. I really honestly think it would have killed me.
And when were you supposed to do that?
That was Sunday night. You told me to go.
I did.
I have it on record. You try to kill me, you motherfucker.
What did I say?
Yeah, go pick some cotton.
Go pick the cotton, bitch.
Yep, you're just a sharecropper that only cares about profits.
I'm a representative of the man.
So this Amazon hell is awfully funny. I was also supposed to start at Amazon. And Tim, I am in such limbo. Like I don't even
it sounds like HR hell. Just HR hell.
I think I could probably talk to 5 different people, and 5 different people would tell me something different. But they told me to resign basically and then like restart. Well, if I'm on COVID leave, and they're going to pay me. Why would I resign? You know what I mean? Like, I'll wait until my leave is up, right?
Right. And they're giving you a week.
They're giving me 1 week, yeah, for my near-death experience.
To recover from something you describe as bad as appendicitis.
Well, the other thing is that they did not listen. The doctor didn't listen to me, nor did Amazon. It's so fun. Nobody listens.
We lost your video.
Hold on
briefly.
1 second. Julie's asking for money. Is this not appropriate here?
Welcome to Brook Park. I think it should be called the Brook Park variant, even though it probably came to you from the Tri-City area. Or you might have caught it at the cotton picking plant.
There was an event that I went to too, that my kids' basketball game. So like that could have been the.
So you
like
think the basketball game might have done it?
Very well could be.
When was the basketball game?
That was the Saturday, like not this last Saturday, but the Saturday previous.
That's a long time for it to incubate. I mean, it sounds. Sorry. we are always inundated by these fucking this is all telemarketing calls. We get like 6-7 of them a day.
Did you know that you could have an extended car warranty
from Nigeria?
Isn't that nice of them?
The Nigerian prince calling from the bank. I mean, it's like 6-7 times a day. I mean, this is such perfect Brook Park bottom of the barrel shit. I'm talking to you about getting COVID the 4th time, and some telemarketer wants my money. It's great. By the way, speaking of Ghosts of Plum Run Hour and COVID is related now to the series because I have these time travelers in this in volume 3 from the present, and these time travelers from volume 3 from today back to the charge of the first Minnesota.
Is Bezos in there?
Huh?
Is Jeff Bezos a time traveler?
No, I created these very Cleveland time travelers. See, you got to get to volume 3 because it starts to be very Cleveland. So COVID is part of, the world they're time traveling from. We're going to see what Jonathan thinks of that in volume 3 tomorrow, in tomorrow's call, which I don't know when we're going to post that, but
so doing some research on this Mr. Jonathan, it appears that he might be related to the torso killer.
No, you're talking about Ed Sweeney.
Oh, I thought you were talking about. So who's this Ed Sweeney then?
Well, Ed and I met in Occupy Cleveland.
Okay.
And we've stayed in touch, and he used to have a very, very active Twitter presence called Ed's Red Boat. You may have seen it. There was a red boat. And he left Twitter for his own sanity like 2 years ago, which was probably the smart thing to do. But we stay in touch, and he's the one who gave me the heads up on COVID in December of 2019. He was like, "Look at this shit. What the hell is this coming
my
out
sister, my sister knew it was coming too. That's when I was living with her when she had that broken leg.
And he is related to the Dr. Francis Sweeney, who was the chief suspect of Elliot Ness for the torso murderers.
Well, yeah, like most of that stuff did think that it was a highly influential political figure in Cleveland, and looking at his bio, yeah, that's him. And like, yeah, it probably was.
The story is this this Dr. Francis Sweeney was a cousin of his grandfather or something, who was at the time in the firefighters union or in the safety department under Elliot Ness, and Sweeney, and the Francis Sweeney, the suspect, was just a very troubled, drunk World War I veteran who happened to be a doctor.
I think
And
they ended up institutionalizing him. If
yes,
my
he was
memory serves me correct.
institutionalized, and then from the institution he taunted Elliot Ness for the rest of his life with various hilarious postcards.
I'll tell you, like, I wouldn't have known much about that period in history at all if I didn't work at the library. And like,
Right.
that was a very, very popular subject even 20 years ago. Like people picking up books. So like, I'd kind of like pick it up and like, that's shit fucking scares me, that true crime stuff. But like, that was like the biggest murder mystery of the 20th century for a good while.
Certainly around here.
Yes.
But yeah, it's Ed and I talk all the time about, we stay on top of this, and this. The interesting thing about this variant in Brook Park being completely non-respiratory is that it suggests that this Geert Vanden Bosch dynamic, where the vaccine creates new variants because of the pressure it puts on the virus. This could be, my thinking is, what you got, if it is indeed some other variant, is probably a vaccine created variant. I will now be canceled for misinformation. By the way, we're terrorists. Did you know that? We're terrorists now.
Of course we are.
We're terrorists for discussing this topic.
To have any opinion that like
deviates
from
dis, and malinformation, otherwise known as MDM. Did you know it was otherwise known as MDM? We're MDM terrorists.
They don't know what the fuck's going on themselves. So like, are they terrorists when they said that it was 2 weeks to flatten the curve?
Well, the only thing anybody knows about any of this is that nothing works against this fucking virus. Nothing.
Like, my assumption of just, common sense is that the virus obviously knew that, like, I've had antibodies that it's attacked my lungs before. So like the lungs didn't work. No runny nose. That didn't work. So now it's going to attack something else.
4-0. You're like Joe Burrow, baby. You're just going in undefeated.
The pain, the body aches and stuff were way more severe this time. Like everything was like more severe, except it didn't attack the lungs.
So if this were going, if this were a normal world where your information would be valuable about this variant, people would not treat you as a terrorist.
Well, the doctor, like, I showed you the note, like, I didn't tell her that at all. Like, she just read up the normal everyday COVID. Like, I did not mention my lungs at all. I said it's attacking my stomach. She didn't give a shit. And honestly, I didn't really care either, because like they're not going to do anything. I needed a goddamn note. God bless America's healthcare system. Yay.
Did they ask
Trust
if you were
the
vaxxed?
science.
Did they ask if you were vaxxed?
I think they can see that in my chart. Like I avoid the doctor at all costs.
Right.
Which is my detriment, because I let things go too long. But like now I've logged into both my chart on Cleveland Clinic and Metro for the first time in years this last week. And like, it's like blazing, like, don't forget to schedule your COVID test.
Right.
Don't forget to do this. Go fuck yourself. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Are you following the trucker stuff?
A bit. Not too much, but yes, I'm aware.
I like the fact that you got the crucifix in the background now.
Of course.
Well,
it protects me from COVID.
Well, 4-0, baby.
Yeah,
4-0. Did you light a votive candle in celebration of your fourth victory over COVID? Did you light a votive?
Not quite a votive, but
I mean, that's pretty
kinda
close. That looks like a votive. That's a votive.
Yeah. So, yes.
Brook Park.
I love that Julie asked me for money in the middle of this thing. I'm sending her money now. That's why That was the most beautiful thing.
How is Julie? Julie, for everyone's information, is Eugene's ex-wife,
And I'm still sending the bitch money.
the mother of his 4 beautiful children.
Julie's doing good actually. Like I think she's performing her job very well. So I think the future is looking pretty good for her. I think she's mentally in a good position right now. And she hasn't given me, like, every once in a while we have a blow up or two, but
Former
all in all,
councilwoman,
things good.
former at-large councilwoman for Brook Park.
How'd that work out?
The Brook Park.
Honestly, the ironic thing about all that is that she was actually doing the work of the people. Like her legislation was actually good, but like since it was, they wanted it, and they really truly did drive her crazy on purpose. But like she got a better minimum wage for like the hourly worker. Like, how dare she, give them an extra $2?
Well, that was the death knell when she actually delivers for voters. You're going out. You're finished. I mean, they descended on her like a swarm of locusts.
Like I remember when she did that. I think like the minimum wage at like for a Brook Park worker was like $9 an hour doing a stupid job, and like I think she got it up to 12.
That's serious. That's a serious raise.
But like in terms of like the actual economic impact on the city, it was like nothing. I mean, like it, like let's say 100 people, but like it was so small, and they still wanted to fight. Like, where else are you gonna? Like, you can waste that money a million different places, but God forbid, give it to the fucking worker.
Right.
It's so sick.
So, what is the latest Orcut news?
I haven't heard, but you sent me that like that Broadview or North Royalton's.
You know
Like,
that guy?
No, but like, how is this legal? Like, isn't that a conflict of interest?
Yeah, like for our listeners, Mayor Ed Orcutt, recently elected, just announced his hire of the economic development director, which itself is hilarious because you know what his big economic development idea is? Tear down the Super 8 motel. That's his big priority. This guy also is the president of North Royalton City Council, which is 2 fucking suburbs away. How does this guy? It can't be. You're right. There's something weird there. I mean,
as I say, like it's a blatant. Like I would actually like. I'm not a lawyer, but like I know that there's something that you could do as a taxpayer's lawsuit. Like that seems like it would be a taxpayer lawsuit if somebody wanted to. That's a conflict of interest. It's in your face.
So you never heard of this guy?
You know what? If I was a little bit, if I felt how I feel today, when you gave me that information, I would have went to Tom Coyne's page and to see if he was a friend.
That was my next question: is what's the Tom Coyne connection?
Because I think that's where this will lead.
That was my first instinct. This is a Tom Coyne stitch up. Whoever this new North Royalton City Council president is. The North Royalton City Council president is now the Brook Park Economic Development Director.
He's actually the council president?
I think so. I think that's what the story said.
What is going on?
I could be wrong. I'm going to be canceled for dis, and malinformation. I'm a terrorist. We're both terrorists. You look like look at you. You look like a terrorist.
I got 4 terrorists on my fucking shirt.
You do. Worst terrorist of all time.
I'm glad that none of those idiots did a Neil Young. I love Neil Young.
Let's discuss.
Like
Neil Young.
I read your little Neil Young piece, and like, I'm actually kind of surprised that you're not as. I love Neil Young. I've seen Neil Young a couple times. Like, he's one of my all-time favorites. That was disappointing to me. Like that, this guy's a fucking total idiot.
So you're you see Neil Young in a new light now.
I always kind of knew that he was a cocksucker, like like a personality, but like that you would just, you're a musician. Like that, does that make you a scientist? Like, where does he get the gall to like, I would trust that guy that did the interview with that invented the mRNA virus over him. Like, just because the scientists don't agree with him, like I think he knows more than Neil Young.
So he goes after Joe Rogan, you think, because the doctor on Joe Rogan called everybody a psychotic. I think that's what they're pissed off about. I think they don't like the guy saying you're all brainwashed under mass psychosis.
And that's what it is. But what nobody is talking about is that Neil Young, like, and like I knew this immediately, that he had tried his own little streaming service. Remember without the that was like superior because it had better sound, and it failed.
Neil Young did?
Yes, Ponos. I think it's called Ponos. It's gone now. And actually, this is even funnier because like then I started looking it up again. Guess who he asked money for to save it? And it's dying days.
Joe Rogan?
It's better than that.
Donald Trump?
Donald J. Trump. Help me, Donald. I need some money. You can't make it up.
Is this true? What was the name called?
It is. I should have sent you that. Like, I it almost didn't even seem real. You know what I mean? Like Neil Young's going hat in hand to Donald J. Trump.
That has to have been what, 15 years ago or something?
Less. With it, like right before Trump got elected. So probably within 10.
Well, you're 4-0.
Don't tell Neil.
You're
He'll send
undefeated.
soldiers to Ohio.
10 soldiers and huge coming.
I'm at a Neil Young show, and like this actually kind of I was actually kind of impressed, but also in awe. I think it was actually in the middle of Ohio, and it was at E.J. Thomas Hall, and some dude like must have been climbing on something, and you hear a fall. Like this guy, what? It's an acoustic show. It's only Neil Young and an acoustic guitar. So you hear this guy fall. Like you could actually like hear him before the thud.
Nice.
And like Neil Young didn't bat an eye. Like he just kept on playing like nothing even happened. So I don't really even think he really does care about humanity all that much.
No, he
like
does.
If somebody probably just died, I'd probably be a little bit concerned.
Well, famously from the band and their final tour, The Last Waltz, filmed by Martin Scorsese, famously Neil Young performs in The Last Waltz with cocaine all over his upper lip.
That's good for you, right? Scientists say that.
There's a he clearly snorted a line before he walked out on stage,
and now he's a health expert.
Have you seen The Last Waltz? Have you
I don't think I have, actually.
One of the better rock concert
I've heard the band that, like, I don't really know much of the discography of the band, but I know obviously that's Bob Dylan's backing band. I've seen them back Bob Dylan. They're very good. Like the first time I saw Dylan, oh, incredible. Like he could hardly sing, but my God, were they tight.
Well, and everybody shows up on this Last Waltz film, including Neil Young. Neil Diamond.
Yeah, I know it's very famous.
Neil Diamond even played. Dylan came, a bunch of the 60s types were there for the final band concert, and Neil Young had cocaine across his face during his performance. So and that's what really pisses me off about these guys. These guys haven't had their voices heard enough. Like his literal voice. We've been hearing Neil Young's voice our entire lives, you and me.
He closed the Olympics. You know what I mean? Like, you've had your day.
We hear you every single day. There's no place on earth where his voice is not being aired at this very moment. And he wants to crush some other voice because he had a guest on who says you're psychotic for thinking any of this shit works. That's why.
Truthfully, I think that it was more of a marketing ploy.
Well, he did sell music after this, according to some people. He moved some product.
And Sirius XM did a whole station to him. And about a week after he went on his little diatribe, he announced that he had a new album out. So
he announced what?
A new album.
So the whole thing
isn't that great timing?
I mean,
yeah, it's like, isn't that great?
And we're all supposed to think this is all very legit and earnest.
Honestly, I love Neil Young's music. I you know what I mean? Like he's one of my, like he's probably in the top 5. You know what I mean? Like he's up there. And that was disappointing. I don't know. It's sick. The whole thing is
who
sick.
Is going to be the like apparently Kid Rock did a song.
Fuck Joe Biden or whatever.
No, yes, there's like Fuck Joe Biden in there. There's Let's Go Brandon in there. The whole ball of wax. It's very typical Kid Rock.
You know what?
Crap.
Like, guess who loves Kid Rock?
Julie.
No, not Julie at all. That wouldn't be Julie's thing.
Ed Orcutt?
No, another frequent person that we talk about on this podcast.
Scott Shirai?
No.
Tom
You've
Coyne.
met this. You've
Tom
met
Coyne.
this person.
I have.
Uh-huh. You've probably been scared from this person. He's frightened you.
Well, Ed Orcutt frightens everyone.
He's very close to me.
Mike
loves Kid Rock. He's always loved Kid Rock.
Then he will have heard, your brother Mike will have heard this song.
I've seen. I listened to it. I saw the little blurb.
How is Mikey, by the way? Our friend who caught COVID at the insurrection.
Let's stick with Kid Rock.
Okay.
Dude, I'm telling you. And like, I am not like, I go to a concert like it was a festival. Stone Temple Pilots were like, they were headlining on the Saturday night. Kid Rock was headlining on the Sunday night. So I dragged Mike there. Like that was not very enjoyable because Mike was like in a mood. But Sunday he's like all amped up because Kid Rock's playing. Kid Rock was fucking awesome, dude. That was a fucking great show.
Well, he does put on a good show. I saw him at Blossom when he opened up for Aerosmith, believe it or not. This is one of the last concerts I went to at Blossom years ago. He opened up for Aerosmith.
Incredible.
And he does put on a good show. I mean, he's a showman. Like that.
Yes, I was very impressed.
That crappy song that he just put out is probably enjoyable in live performance because he puts on such a good show.
It's so bad,
but it's terrible. It's terrible.
It is. It's a horrible song.
It's like,
but it like went number 1, like on iTunes and stuff. Like, what is this?
Like it's total sibling in music is going to be the opposite. Like some cat lady reads the Mueller report on in a dramatic poetry reading at Times Square. That's like what Kid Rock just did, except the other way around. He's I don't think he's very talented. I think he's just got he's good at tossing things together and he's got a good voice. He can
I don't know
sing.
what to make of him.
Or he can.
What I will
hip
say
is what he can do,
my
but
old
not
boss,
very well.
my old boss at Oberlin said that he used to do all the shows. He used to work. He used to be like the guy at Blossom, like getting all that shit together, and also worked at the Gund. He said that Kid Rock was like the coolest dude that he's ever met.
Right. That's all you ever
And
hear. He's like a great guy.
so they had like they like kind of like friended each other at Blossom, and then the next time he toured the Gund, and like Kid Rock gave him like a whole case of like this really expensive booze.
Sounds like him.
Just so like I gotta give him, you know what I mean? Like it's pretty odd.
I mean, if
like,
someone's giving you booze, that you're gonna like them.
he said Neil Diamond was the biggest son of a bitch he's ever met.
Neil Diamond. Really?
Like even if you look at Neil Diamond, like Neil Diamond would like call security and like say like that man's looking at me,
Which is a shame because he's such a. I mean, Neil Diamond is one of my favorite songwriters of all time.
He's awesome. He's a showman too.
Very good showman.
But I think you have to be a little crazy in order to be talented. You know what I mean? Like there has to be some eccentric shit that is going on in there that.
So your kids are not at home. They've been quarantined away from your filthy unvaxxed ass.
They've basically been kidnapped.
Do they text you and say ask how you're doing, or have they just forgotten that you exist?
This whole thing kind of pisses me off because like I know this is the protocol, but I'm 95% certain I got it from Kelly and Lila. So obviously they've been exposed. Would have had no idea that it would have been COVID, but they had stomach problems, and like stomach problems aren't breathing problems. So like I did not think it was COVID. I did not tell them, like I will not tell my sister that they're sick because she'll freak out. You know what I mean? Like
right.
This happened a couple weeks ago. But I for years I was like basically anything that Julie would say, even though I disagreed with it, I'd go along with it, not to fight. So Julie said, when I tested positive, whatever you do, don't tell Mary. I should have listened.
On the rare occasion that she's right about this sort of thing.
Yes. So now my children have been taken away from me.
And do they communicate
filthy unvaxxed
via
text?
Via text.
Yeah, I'll FaceTime them today. I think I'll probably try to reconnect them somehow, but it's hard to do without a car.
Are they handling it in stride?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't want them to stress out. You know what I mean? Like if you take them out of the routine, then like they're going to be a little off. Like I'm more looking out for them, and like I'd like to have them around because it sucks not having anybody here. But like Julie was saying, like, does you know what I mean? Like they're asking all kinds of questions. That's exactly what I don't want. Fuck.
And now you're going on a podcast and telling the world about the Brook Park Tri-City variant.
When COVID finally kills me after the 10th time, because cats have 9 lives, I guess 10 will get me.
So you got 4. You got 4 in. You cashed in four chips. You're 4-0. I think this is just happening everywhere. Is that a lot of these variants are just popping up, and God knows what the fucking worst one's going to be. But that sounds pretty bad. I mean, if you felt like you had appendicitis,
it was appendicitis. It was like just below appendicitis pain.
And this doctor didn't care.
No, but like I didn't press it either because like I just wanted the goddamn note. Like she didn't listen at all though.
Unbelievable. Like they're not really interested in data.
No,
Like if you got
just
it, it has to
it's
be
like a McDonald's worker. You know what I mean? Like
just
take your burger and go.
here's your bag.
Yes. Next.
I mean, if you got it and your kids may have had it, that means it's out there. You don't go anywhere.
No,
You went to a basketball game. I think the basketball game might be the likely spot. Which kid's playing basketball?
That's Kevin. That's the NBA fan.
How's he? Is he getting any better?
He's starting to get a little bit, but like it would have been better if he would have had a year of all fundamentals. But like that's what we'll work on all summer.
Mm-hmm.
Once the weather breaks, I think next year he'll be really good. Because like he does seem to want, like he's into lacrosse too. And last year it was a struggle. And I guess they had their first practice yesterday or 2 days ago now. And
this is the St. Bart's team.
No, that's through Lakewood. That's Julie's people.
Oh,
that
basketball is that the St. Bart's team?
No, that's Brook Park. That's where I could get my Orcut stuff.
You're getting your.
That's where Orcut tried to kill me.
Maybe Orcut sent you the tummy variant. So
I sent you a job. What do you think? You're the new bartender at Thurston 10.
Yes. For our listeners, Thurston 10 is a bar pretty much equidistant between me and you. I mean, I think it's exactly the same distance.
I bet you it would be. I bet you it would be totally on the money.
On Sheldon Road in Middleburg Heights, the diviest dive. When I told Jonathan about Thurston 10, he just started laughing. He's like, I don't even know that place was open.
Well, is he from the area?
Ish, he's
well,
he's
I think
Cleveland.
Back in the day it used to be called Lantern Inn, right?
The Lantern. It was the Lantern when we first moved here very long ago.
It was even more divey then.
When's the last time you were in there?
I'd say 3-4 years ago.
That's more recent than me. But they're looking for a bartender because what's her face quit. I don't know how you're friends with people who are bartenders at Thurston 10 on Facebook.
I have no idea how I became.
Like, how the hell does that happen?
I have no idea. It was just God's plan.
Like,
I'm thinking I should be the bartender there.
That could be Allison Gerald quit Thurston 10. Breaking news. She's moving, so they need a new
Maybe
bartender.
She knows that Nibru is going to hit.
Nibiru is coming, and for those who are uninitiated, Nibiru Planet X crashing into the Earth to end all of our misery is going to hit Thurston 10.
We miscalculated. We thought it was a few years ago, but I think it's coming now.
Well, it came for you 4 times, and you beat its ass. So
I ain't going out like that.
I was a little worried, man. I was like, this could be bad if it's like some other place other than respiratory. It's clearly some kind of new version. No one cares. COVID's over.
You told me to go pick cotton, you motherfucker. So
I don't recall this. I'm going to call you. I don't recall saying go pick the cotton. Did I say that?
I think you did. I think I'll have to go back through the chats and
yeah. Well, I think we're probably exhausting the topic of Eugene's 4-0 performance against COVID. Unless you have anything else you'd like to discuss with our 5 listeners.
I'm glad that I'm alive. I'm glad that I'm going to get COVID pay probably from Amazon if I can navigate this endless maze of human resources hell.
So based on this, you had it what? Thanksgiving was the last time ish.
Yes. Yes.
So 2 months.
This is getting out. It's gotten me out of two family things, though. There was going to be, obviously, I didn't go to Thanksgiving, and now I don't have to go to the Super Bowl party. So, like, that's
Where is the Super Bowl party?
right down the street at my brother's.
Is
But
Mike going to that?
Mike has not left the house in like 5 or 6 days, so I doubt it.
So he's gonna just hole up in old Brooklyn.
Old Brooklyn, yep.
What street does he live on over there?
Burger,
Off of State.
yep. You know where that convenient and that liquor store is at?
Is that behind Our Lady of Good Counsel, or
I think it's before that. It's like off the highway, and then like it's before you get to the church. My
Okay.
sister belongs to that church, which you like that Blue Lives Matter.
Yeah, they got a
that they
Blue
have
Lives
there.
Matter flag now in front of my old church, and it's just heartbreaking. It's just so heartbreaking. But
I always thought it was odd that there was American flags in a church, let alone a Blue Lives Matter. You know what I mean? Like I
any
don't know.
flag.
Yes, like it's very strange.
Like,
What do we know?
It's a church, it's not it's supposed to be non-political, but now everything's political, which is why we're here.
We're terrorists.
We're terrorists. We're the MDM. We're the MDM. There should be a new hip hop group called MDM.
I love it.
Maybe you and me do a, Eminem kind of MDM thing.
I'm down.
All right. Well, you look like you need some sleep. You go sleep it off. Thank you for joining the Ghost of Plum Run Hour with Eugene McCormick. 4-0 undefeated against COVID, including the new Brook Park Tri-City variant.
Peace out, motherfuckers.
Peace out, baby.